What's going on, everyone? It's BradyBot here, and today I'm presenting you another how-to video. This time we're going to be exploring a very unusual squeeze and position known as a Winkle that came up about a week ago in an online declarer-only event that I played on BBO. And as always, we're going to start by taking a look at the auction, and because this was declare play only, I didn't make any of these bids myself, but for once, I actually do agree with all the robots' bids on this one. North opens a heart. We decide to bid 2 clubs on our south hand, game forcing. Partner bids 2 diamonds. We bid 3 diamonds to support partner's suit. Partner bids 3 spades, trying to look for 3 no trump if we have a spade stopper. 3 no trump by us. We do have a spade stopper, queen jack third of spades. And that's where we ended. We get the 7 of clubs opening lead. Now, this is a very unusual lead on this kind of auction, and the robots are kind of known for doing this from time to time, but because it's a declare play only event, this is going to be the same lead that everyone gets. So even though we've gotten a little bit of a friendlier lead, the opponents maybe could have led spades, taken a couple spades, set up a long spade trick. Everyone's going to be in the same spot as us, so we still want to kind of maximize our chances in terms of tricks here. It is a match point event after all. The opening club lead goes around to East Jack, and we win the ace. Now, it is possible that West is led from 9-8-7 of clubs, in which case East has Queen Jack third, and we could just take all 5 club tricks without losing a trick in the suit. So that's going to be our first plan of attack, is to try and figure out what West's opening lead is from. It does make sense to me to go after clubs as opposed to, for example, hearts or spades to try and set up an extra trick, because of this possibility, and also because I just think it's very unlikely West is leading from queen fourth of clubs against this auction, where our 2 club, 2/1 bid, followed by a subsequent 3 diamond bid over here, really shows off that we have a true club suit, as opposed to some of these 2/1 auctions where 2 clubs could just be bid because we had to game force and we picked our better minor. So I went about my business. I led a diamond over to the ace. Both opponents followed. I led a club, and on this trick, East pops up with a queen. We play the king, and West follows with the 9. Well, this is good news because now we are 100% confident, unless the opponents are false carding in some way on opening lead, that West's opening lead is the 7 from 9-8-7 third, and East has now popped up with the queen unnecessarily from an original holding of Queen Jack third. So our 10 of clubs will drop the 8 from West, and our suit will run. We don't exactly have a full count on our tricks at this point. Diamonds might be 4-1, and so with the jack offside, in which case we aren't able to take 3 more diamond tricks, but let's suppose we can, just for the sake of thinking about the rest of the play. Well, with 3 more clubs, 3 more diamonds, and 2 more hearts to come, that brings our total up to 11 tricks. And with the opponents having the outstanding ace-king of spades, we can't exactly try and set up an extra trick in that suit, because then they would just cash 2 spades and we would take our 11 tricks, and that would be the end of it. Similarly, unless the queen of hearts is falling doubleton, which is somewhat unlikely, but possible, we don't have an extra trick that we can get in hearts, so we have to turn our attention to a potential squeeze. Now, for students of the game, if you see a position where you have a 2-loser end game, for example, this hand here, we have 2 losers yet to be taken by the opponents, that often lends itself to a strip squeeze, one of the most common 2-loser squeezes out there. But in this case, what are the suits where a strip squeeze could occur? Well, assuming our diamonds are cashing, we don't have any club losers or diamond losers remaining, we just have hearts and spades to work with, one opponent would need to hold all of the ace-king of spades and the queen of hearts for a strip squeeze to occur. And I think this is exceedingly unlikely because I'm fairly confident after the opening lead, the spade honors are evenly distributed between East and West's hands. Why did West not lead a spade at trick 1? Well, probably because they were worried about leading away from an honor, either the ace or king. If they had a bunch of small spades, this auction has clearly dictated our spade weakness. Partner asked us for a spade stopper, and we grudgingly accepted after showing 9 cards in the minors. And otherwise, if West happened to have ace, king, fourth of spades, they would also lead a spade. Just lead a high spade, take a look at dummy, and then decide if they want to switch or continue the suit. So for those reasons, I think East has one of the high spades and West has the other one. So a strip squeeze isn't going to work. But that means that a more unusual end position, such as a Winkle, might actually come into play. And these Winkles you might see come up in these positions where the opponents have 2 high cards in the suit, here, for example, the ace, king of spades, and they're divided evenly between the opponent's hands. And then, if one of them also has to guard a different suit to protect against a finessable position, or you dropping their honor, here, hearts is that suit. King, jack of hearts, one opponent is gonna have to hold on to the queen doubleton of hearts in the end position. We might be able to squeeze them down to, for example, a singleton ace of spades, and then it's going to function a little bit like a strip squeeze. We're going to exit a spade, they'll win their ace, and then they're going to have to lead into our king, jack, doubleton of hearts. And the importance that the spade honors are split between the 2 hands will become apparent in that end position, because if the other player decides to take their partner off the end play, they're going to have to overtake the king of spades, for example, with their ace, and that will actually set up our queen, jack of spades as winners at the end of the hand. But as with many squeezes, especially these multi-loser squeezes, we have to do a lot of work in counting the opponent's hands out and do a little bit of detective work as to figure out whether or not they've actually come down to the position we're hoping for, right? We're hoping that someone comes down to like singleton ace of spades and queen doubleton of hearts, for example. We'll get into specifics as we approach the position, and we can talk through a little bit more of the considerations once we get there. But sometimes an opponent actually wises up, realizes that declarer is playing for this squeeze, and will bear their, in this case, queen of hearts early. And if that happens, then declarer is going to have to work out to cash the king of hearts in the end position. Otherwise, the opponents are actually just going to cash a few spades. So keep all this in mind. I mean, I'm going to play through the next few tricks as we get towards the end position, and pay attention to the opponent's discards to see what you might do in the position that we ultimately reach. Our objective, as stated before, we're going to come down to king, jack, doubleton of hearts in dummy, a singleton spade, and we're going to have the queen, jack, third of spades in our own hand. We need the lead to be in dummy just in case someone has bared the queen of hearts so that we can cash the king of hearts. So we can kind of easily plan that out, cash a few clubs. We pitch a spade, cash another club, both opponents pitch spades, cash a third club, and on this trick, both opponents pitch hearts, which is interesting. Either the 10 of diamonds to the jack, king, and deuce. Play a diamond back to our 9 as East pitches another heart. Cash the ace of hearts, both opponents follow. East with the 10, West with the 8. Now we play a diamond over to the queen as both opponents pitch spades. So, as a count on the hand, there are 4 missing spades and 2 missing hearts. It looks like our squeeze has worked, right? It looks almost as if West on this very last diamond reluctantly pitched a spade. They're holding on to the queen doubleton of hearts for dear life, and they have a singleton spade honor. So in that case, we should exit the 7 of spades, and no matter what East does, we're going to take the last 2 tricks. If East plays low on this trick, we can play low or play the jack, it doesn't really matter. West will perforce win the only spade in their hand because it's a high one, and then they'll have to lead hard into our king jack at the end of the hand. Alternatively, if we lead the 7 of spades and East happens to take their partner off this end play by hopping up with the ace, presumably, squashing their partner's king, we will play low, and East down to just major cards will have the unenviable option of leading into our king jack of hearts or leading into our queen jack of spades, both which would give us the last 2 tricks. Well, what did I do? At this point, I played the king of hearts. And as we reveal the full hand, you'll see that this was actually the right play at the time. the queen of hearts fell, I was able to cash the jack of hearts, and the opponents got the last trick, but 12 tricks taken. Now, I'm not going to go into specifics on this. I mean, this is not a lecture on how to guess the opponent's distribution or pay attention to their discards, but you'll notice if we back up quite a while that on the 5th club, West kind of worked out already what was happening on this hand and discarded a heart coming down to the queen doubleton of hearts very early in the play. And if we hadn't picked up on this, then we might have gotten the end position wrong, because this early discard of a heart is not something that humans are all that accustomed to dealing with. I mean, most defenders will not make these kinds of discards so early in the hand, especially when they don't have complete information about what's going on. But ultimately, we did work out the correct thing to do. Anyway, I do want to bring up a little bit of a more, what I would call, resilient defense from the opposition, where West does hold on to the queen doubleton of hearts, and we can take a look at the end positions that can result from that. So here we go. I've recreated the hand, and it's the exact same hand, as you'll notice, and I've recreated the first couple of tricks. We pick up the club suit, cash the 10 of clubs, pitching a spade, play the 6 of clubs, West pitches a spade, East pitches a spade, play another club. But here, West is going to hold on to that queen of hearts for dear life, and we'll actually see the end position unfold. So West first pitches a diamond. We discard a heart, as does East. We now play a diamond over to the king. The diamonds have split. Play a diamond back to the 9, as East pitches another heart, and West throws a spade. We unblock the heart ace, and now we play a diamond. And here's where the squeeze actually starts to take shape. So West could, first off, play the 2 of spades. This gets down to the position that we were hoping to reach. We play the queen of diamonds. East plays the 9 of hearts. So once again, the opponents have come down to 4 spades and 2 hearts between their 2 hands. We would still have to guess if we were supposed to play the king of hearts next, as we did during the actual play of the hand, dropping the singleton queen, or if we should instead lead the 7 of spades. And now this is where we get to that visualization that I brought up earlier. East could take their partner off of the end play by winning the ace of spades, but at this point, our queen jack of spades come into power, because East on lead with only spades has to lead a spade, and while our king of hearts is stranded, we actually pick up 2 spade tricks. Did you really think that that was going to happen at the start of the deal? Alternatively, if East instead continues by playing low, we get to the position where West wins the king of spades, leads a heart, and there's actually no guess in this position. Is that true? Well, obviously if West had a second spade, you would think maybe they should be cashing the ace of spades. But a very clever West and very clever East could have come down to the singleton queen of hearts earlier, and in that case, when West gets in with the spade king and leads a heart, if Declare were to take the heart finesse, East could win the queen and then cash the spade ace. But I think this is a little unrealistic. For one thing, the defense could always come out on top whenever East has the guarded queen of hearts, so there's no reason for East to discard the heart queen. The defense could arrange for West to win trick 11 with the king of spades and play a heart through. Like East could just ditch the ace of spades at some point during the play. West eventually would get in with the spade king, play a heart through the king jack at trick 12, and East would get their queen of hearts. The finesse would be failing. So that's one reason I think Declare probably should take the heart finesse here, and therefore the king of hearts will cash at trick 13 for 12 tricks taken once again. Instead of all of this, there's another clever possibility that needs to be analyzed, which is what happens on this trick if West ditches the king of spades. Well, the Winkle actually squeezes both opponents. It's not just the player with the heart queen, because on this trick, East has to make a little bit of a commitment. And here's what I mean. If East pitches the 9 of hearts, well, West no longer has an entry. So we can actually just cash the King of Hearts at this point, and then lead a spade, and East is eventually going to have to give us one of the Queen Jack of Spades. So getting back to that position, if East pitches a spade, again, a very similar scenario can occur. We can cash the King of Hearts, stripping East's heart, and then lead a spade towards the Queen Jack. Well, I want to bring up the interesting point that from here, we actually can't make 2 more tricks if we mistakenly lead the 7 of spades now that East has held on to ace 10 third. Because what would happen is we lead the 7 of spades, and you might think, oh, okay, like East will win the ace, but no, they'll cover the 7 of spades with the 10. And now we're a little bit pickled. If we play low, East wins, and East is still on lead, and they can then cash the spade ace. If we win the jack, West follows, but now we ourselves are end played. We're stuck in our hand, we can't get to the heart king, we would have to exit a spade, East would take both of the last 2 tricks with the ace and 6 of spades. So very important that once West abandons the guard in the suit, the King of Spades, then we need to cash the King of Hearts to score our heart trick before leading a spade and taking the last trick 13 for 12 tricks total. So that's what a Winkle is. Hopefully everyone enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave a like, and if you're not subscribed to the channel already, please do so. That would really help me out, trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. And I plan to make a bunch more of this content in the future, so stay tuned for more how-to videos on fun end positions, interesting defensive positions, and a bunch more topics like that.